it take me almost a year and a half to be able to digest beans.
Right.
It's that powerful, you know?
Yeah.
And the second thing is never lose your faith. And I have to tell you though, Muneeza, you impacted me the most with this, because our first call, you asked me if I believed in angels. And I told you I didn't know what I believed anymore. And I was crying. And you told me, well, I believe in angels and they're around you and your son. And that transformed me, because you cannot heal without some type of faith, you know. And I still think about that. And I think, gosh, at a time when, I mean, literally my husband and I weren't in a church and we were just searching, you know, like, what's our truth now? And that impacted me so much. You know, whenever I had the medical medium book, before I talked to you, I couldn't even read the angel section in his first book because I didn't believe in them, you know? And I just felt abandoned, I think is the term, you know, because you're just like, I'm doing everything right, God, you know, I'm eating raw foods. Why am I still sick?
Right.
So that was probably the most impactful. And I always tell people I talk to, if you don't have some type of spiritual journey in your healing journey, I feel like it's almost impossible to heal.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in a higher power, you're never going to believe that you're going to heal, you know? And once I started clinging on to your faith, Muneeza, and you having the faith for me was really, I think, whenever I started to see true changes. Because even if I took those one step forward and the 2 step back, you know, as Anthony says, I didn't let those 2 steps back devastate me, you know? I thought, you know what?
Yeah.
Dude, God has my back. You know, the angel of healing is right here with me. And you know what? They have compassion. Whenever I cry, they cry. You know, they see my pain and they love me and they're going to help me get better. And, you know, I mean, that was really the most transformational, was probably the celery juice and you guys bringing back my faith. So.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
You're making me cry. I mean, you know, it's been one of those. So you don't know that this happened, but our video didn't go onto my page. It went on my personal timeline. So I'm going to back you up a little bit and introduce you again. So this is Rose Whit, Healing with Rose on Instagram. And we had a little technical glitch there, but we're back live on our page. And if you have been just catching on and listening, Rose was telling her story of being sick, being in a car accident, having all these issues trigger from the car accident, receiving drugs that triggered other reactions. And she's been sharing what happened since she met medical medium. So Rose, I know that you have really embraced a lot of emotional healing work. And I know that you're a believer in that, where maybe you hadn't been before. Tell everybody, after having been through a lot of emotional healing work for yourself, what is the value of it in your healing journey with physical symptoms?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. Like, I really thought emotion code was voodoo work. I just have to be honest. I watched some YouTube videos and I thought, that seems too simple and very voodoo-ish. So surely it's not going to help. But anyways, it's been amazing, because I think once you start to clear out emotions, several things happen. One, your heart space expands. I cannot tell you how big my heart space is, you know?
Yeah.
I could not have compassion for myself in the beginning of my healing journey because my heart wasn't large enough. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I feel like it's easier for us to have compassion for other people, or at least try to feel compassion. But for ourselves, we don't really extend that to us. And so clearing out emotions open up this energy field that I think is pretty, like, you have to have it to heal. You know, because of that, you know, you learn how to have compassion for yourself, and you have the emotional, you know, room to be able to have compassion for yourself, because you don't have all the baggage anymore. You know, you got to think of a closet. You know, you can't put new clothes in there if you got all this junk. You know, you got to take the old stuff out and give it to Goodwill. So, you know what I mean? Like, or wherever you donate it to. So I felt like that was, you know, where I really started to see massive changes. But really the other thing that I've noticed recently that I know I shared with you the other day was really letting go of the big energies recently. My husband was like, wow, you look great. Are you working out? Because he's really been on me to work out. And I'm like, no, dude, I've been doing emotion code. And he was like, you look great. Like your stomach's flattered, your thighs are slimming down. And it clicked. I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if I released some type of energy that had my liver blocked or whatever, my adrenals, that was really making me hold on to extra weight. And it's just been, amazing from there. It's just been like, plus obviously once you clear out the emotions, I think you release your adrenals in a way to where the little things don't stress you out as much,
That, my dear, is the key.
The strep, I'm not having nearly as many strep flares from the little amounts of stress. And I realized even if I get an argument with my, generally it's with my husband, I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, well, we all have them.
I don't break my adrenals down, because I no longer click into rage. It was always my feelings get hurt and then I top out and go into immediate rage. And then my husband would always tell me, please don't get upset. Please don't get upset because you're going to crash your adrenals. Right. I don't have that anymore. Now it's just like, it's very hard to explain, I think, for someone that's never done any type of emotional healing work. The energy is just so clear around you that everything just kind of moves outward. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it makes total sense. And if people are listening, and I know that you said that you lost weight and you're looking slimmer, and everyone catches on to things like that. Yeah. And I want to explain it a little bit, because she wouldn't have been able to do that if she wasn't already on the protocol.
Exactly.
Right? If she wasn't doing all the other protocols, the piece that the emotions really help is that we get into this in Detox Mastery. The piece that emotions really help is releasing the adrenals. Because if you're holding really stressful emotions in your body and you're upset or in rage, and I used to be the one who ran tons of rage and anger too, Rose. I mean, I was this, you probably all can tell, I'm a pretty passionate person, right? So when that goes the other way, the flip side of that can be a lot of anger. So people who are really passionate and have a big purpose, and they go at life with like all full gusto, they tend, if it doesn't express in its highest energy, which is doing your purpose, it expresses as anger. And our anger can be really, really intense because we are intense people, right? So I want everyone to understand that. And you don't just have to be intense, like outwardly we're intense. So people like you and I tend to not experience depression as much because it goes out, whereas other people are not expressing it outwards and it goes in, and that becomes this anxiety, depression, nervousness, which compounds in the presence of heavy metals and other toxins that can be playing havoc with your neurotransmitters in your brain chemistry. So I really appreciate that you said that. And so tell everyone a little bit about, I want people to understand, because we're getting a lot of emails from people about what are they really going to get out of doing an online program as opposed to getting a reading. And, I can harp about it as long as I like, but I want them to hear from people like you.
So what I found to be the difference between one-on-one, and I just want to put this disclaimer, one-on-one with you is amazing. But the difference is you get a community. And so whenever you're hurting, because, whenever you're sick and you're not healing, or you feel like you're not healing as fast, or your body's working on something that you don't want it to work on because you want to spend the energy on healing something, there's so many emotions at play that having a session with you, only once a month or, every few months isn't enough, in the sense that whenever your emotions are that on the line, it's so great to have a community where you can go in and go, oh my gosh, like they get it. They get it. Like that was the one thing I kept thinking was, gosh, they get it. Like she might be suffering from something different, or they might look at my stuff. Cause I, whenever I joined, one of them earlier this year, I didn't have major health issues. It was more so just small things, but it was really the emotional aspect for me, of why I joined. And that's what I found to be the difference is you get more time, not necessarily with you, but with people that understand the journey. You know what I mean? And then more time to ask those questions, where in a reading, we want you to talk, Muneeza, you know what I mean? And so we might not think of those questions. And so whenever you're in there and you go, oh my gosh, here's a question, I can log on and put it in the forum and wait for an answer. That was so awesome, because I found that, so many times after one-on-one coachings, I would email Emily and go, oh my gosh, please, blah, 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 blah. And it would be like, you have to wait, or, it'd be like, well, now you got to jump on another call because there's more. And so it was so great to be able to go, oh my gosh, I have this question. Let me log on the form and plug it in. And then to see, where other people had the same question or the symptom, it was just so great. You kind of felt like you were, this is going to sound a little silly, but like in high school, where they put you in teams and you work on a project.
Right.
Not like that, where it's like you bring up an idea and then everyone else is like, oh yeah, that's a good one. And I really loved that aspect, because I feel like I had a little team, to push through those last few, healing issues that I had with. And so that was truly amazing. And obviously learning about the emotions, that's what, set me off whenever I was able to share that video, that you did with my husband. He was able to take it more serious and go, okay, let's save up and let's invest in this, because, we're doing everything we can physical to help your healing. Let's try something emotional, see if that helps the healing. And we have found that, for me, at least, that's what was holding me back, was like you, I'm very passionate, and my emotions so often it used to, doesn't anymore, but it used to dictate my healing.
Yeah. That, and it was so obvious for you to be able to see that. And I think that what happens when people are holding more in, they don't even connect those dots, that there could be emotions here. When you're experiencing a lot of emotion on a constant basis, it's like your adrenals are triggering 24/7. And if you can calm that down with some energy work, like emotion and body code, which is what that is, it's energy work, and you can give yourself a little bit more room to heal, right? The protocols they're still working, but they're working with more burden on it. So you get the burden out, and you can go a little further. And it's not to say that I know Anthony doesn't always talk about emotions in this way. And this is what I want to share with people, because he's not been really expressing this, but he has shared this with me. And the emotions are so important. You know why he always says light heart, light heart? Have you heard him say that? I remember being upset one time, calling him. I was absolutely in tears, not about my health, about something that had happened with a family member. And I had reached out to him because I thought that my liver was hurting and all these things. And he just kept saying, I want light heart, just say it out loud. He said, I'm not diminishing your pain. I just want you to say light heart. And because he intrinsically understood that immediately coming out of that upset was so important to not trigger more virals, right? So get the viruses going, getting all happy and, running amok in your system. I mean, if you think about the viruses that respond to emotions, he says, for example, that shingles is a really big one. EBV is too, but shingles and strep. You know how strep responds to emotions like nothing else. So when people get upset and they notice that, or their stress is causing them to break out, you know how people say that? Or I'm breaking out because I'm stressed. It's the strep, which causes acne and breakouts, just goes crazy when there's high anxiety emotions present, and all that cortisol and adrenaline that feeds it. So thank you so much for sharing, Rose. It's been honestly such a pleasure to have you here, and not just here, but also in my life. I really feel honored to work with people like you. You make what I do just the best ever. So that is the truth. And if you have any parting words for people who are listening, who might be new, or who might be starting out, or who might be feeling like this is an uphill battle, like there's so much to do and it's overwhelming, what would you share with them as a parting words?
I know people say this all the time, but one day at a time, let me handle what's on my plate for today. Don't even think about how you're going to feel tomorrow. Don't even think about what tomorrow looks like. Think about right now. What's on my plate today? You know, whether that's strep, EBV, shingles, whatever it is, let me handle today. What can I do today to help me have a better tomorrow? And I think that also keeps you having a light heart because you're not stressing about, well, you know, what am I going to do about it tomorrow? What am I going to do about tomorrow? And really the light heart, and I know I shared that with you the other day too, was, you know, Anthony said that to me a lot too. Every time he talked to me, you know, whether it was, you know, through Instagram or, you know, the comments or whatever, Rose, just have a light heart. Because he, you know, he can see that I don't naturally have one. But the more that I have tried to clock into that and like you just say it and realize what can I handle today and just have a light heart about today, it's allowed me to not take the healing journey so serious, because I think that we can get too stressed out about the healing journey and too stressed out about our symptoms that we forget that it is a journey.
Yeah.
It's not just about the destination, but how are you making this journey count?
Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Rose. I so appreciate you being here. And I am going to, this is going to be available for people to watch. Again, I'm so happy that we got to do this. And again, thank you so much, my dear.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All right, everyone. We are back. What did you guys think of that interview? Wasn't it just amazing? She has such a great story and such a fantastic, just such a fantastic, you know, healing journey that I'm in awe of listening to it, even though I've been honored to be a part of her journey. Like, to hear it again, it just makes me want to cry. And, you know, all you guys out there, you know, again, I cannot say it enough. I hope you feel from the bottom of my heart how much I really want to help all those people out there who are struggling, who need support. We are here to provide that support. You heard Rose say how important support is. And, you know, honestly, let me tell you, nowhere around is there a program that, you know, the intuitive fall cleanse and the detox mastery, nobody around has a program like this. There is nothing like this, based on all medical medium principles of healing, of, you know, bringing on the spiritual side of medical medium. We're bringing all of that together. And so, you know, you guys show up here literally day after day on these lives, and you have all these questions, which I love answering. And I want to share with you, you know, how deep can I go here? Really, I can only go so far. And, you know, we're dealing with people's really, you know, delicate health. And we're dealing with, you know, if you're asking me about a child, or you're asking me about, you know, you're asking me about a loved one, or yourself, or a mother, or a brother, or a sister, or a father, or a mother, right? There's all these lives are so incredibly delicate. These situations are delicate. And there's only so much I can share here. I mean, granted, right, I can't do deep health work on a public Facebook Live. I can direct you very broadly in the direction that you need to go. But if you want to go deeper, if you want deeper healing, if you want to understand the protocols like Rose just described, you know, yes, she talked about celery juice, but there's so much more there. There's so much more there. And, you know, some of the stuff is everything that I just have in my brain that, you know, that I've had, you know, conversations with Anthony, or he shares a tidbit with me that I can then share with you. And there's so much magic that happens in a group. And there's so much magic that happens when, you know, I'm starting to talk and share with you and help someone. Intuitively, things open up for me and I share. So really, it's really not something that I can do very deeply here, even though I love coming on the lives and I love supporting you here. If you really want to go deeper, please, 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 you've got to check out the program and sign up. Because while it's not a personal consult, it still is so able to guide you, structure you, and give you that community that Rose talked about, right? Community is so important. I'll tell you, you know why, the other reason why I created these programs is because of the number of questions I get post consult. They are so many. Like, people have little questions, big questions, medium questions, you know, all kinds of questions, you know, that I have to sort of, Emily and I have to go in and answer. And this forum, you know what it does? It makes it so that a lot of people can get the benefit of those answers all at once, because also I answer tons of repeat questions. People have a lot of common questions, and granted, there are very unique questions that are about them too. But the thing is, everybody gets to learn from everybody. So, you know, there are people on the forum who are reading every post, and they're reading people's comments and the answers to them. You could have questions in there that we have been able to answer from 5 different angles, right? That I won't even be able to do that 5 different angle answer in an email response to you from my office. Because the ability to have a space to have discussion and debate and asking the question is so, so powerful. Joy Seaver, are you limiting the number of people? Not at the moment, Joy. We have the ability to take on a lot of people. We have 5 admins helping out who are all from the medical medium practitioner group. And so we're not limiting the number of people I mean, obviously, if I reached, you know, 600 or 700 people, I would definitely limit it. But if we reach that point, we would just get more resources to support. But at the moment, we're very much able to handle the load that we have right now. And no, we're not limiting the number of people. So if you'd like to join, check out the link that's been posted, and you can go from there. It's really, you know, I mean, I just want to say to you all, it is really, really important to get support. I cannot emphasize it enough. I didn't heal without support. I needed support in order to heal. And I know so many people get this fact. I mean, last time we had Janae on, and Janae said the same thing. She said, being able to get support is absolutely 1000% critical. Just to answer, I'm not able to read all the questions because they're coming so fast and furious at me. However, a lot of you are asking, what is light heart? So light heart, as I just explained, Anthony says that a lot if you're upset or you're struggling with an emotional thing or something that weighs heavy on your heart, he always says light heart. He would always say that to me whenever I spoke to him. And he would always say, you know, light heart, light heart, light heart. And he would ask me to say it out loud. And Rose said the same thing, that he would say, you know, have a light heart. And so, you know, that is a very powerful way to shift out of emotions that can trigger, that would run your adrenals and then run your viruses, right? So really, really important to bear that in mind. If you guys have questions about some of the cleanse programs, if you want to know more about what the fall cleanse is, or if you know what the fall cleanse is, you want to know what mastery is about. Mastery is 3 months with me doing this deep Q&A work and understanding, you know, all of you, if you read the comments that show up on the question and answer lives, there's so many little questions and big questions. And in there, we're able to go deeper and answer those questions and give you more resources around the questions that you're asking for support around. So, you know, in month 1, the Detox Mastery, and I haven't shared this before, so I want to share this with you, is structured with 2 teaching calls a month and 2 live Q&A calls a month. So you get 4 calls, 1 every week, for 12 weeks. That's 12 weeks of being on the phone with me, on a video with me, talking, discussing, asking your questions, like getting it all out of your head, the stuff that you're brushing your teeth or you're in the shower and you're like, oh my God, I have this question, and you have nowhere to write down. But now if you're in a group, you have a place where you can go like, oh my God, like I'll jump on the Facebook group and I'm just gonna ask my question. So, that's what we do. So in the teaching calls, the one call every month is going to be addressing physical health. And the second call every month is going to be addressing emotional health and building faith, what suffering is teaching us, how to come out of it, and really getting to understand, the victim-victor mentality and how we all fall prey to that, and how I'm not going to talk about it in the typical new agey way. I mean, if you notice, we don't use the words law of attraction. We don't really go into all of that stuff, because really we keep it simpler. And Anthony's always kept it simpler. And I really love that about him. And I just want you to understand that you get to walk both paths with me. We'll do the healing, physical healing path, and we do the emotional healing path, because they're both important. And as you heal and as you get stronger and as your body strengthens, you're able to then really release more emotion that you're holding on to. And you can never know. Do you know, when the first time I did deep emotional healing work, I had no clue what my heart would feel like on the other end. And as Rose described in her video interview, it just, a space opens up inside you that is more joyful, more loving, more happy, and just all around feeling good. Like you just feel different. And you get to that effect more powerfully with medical medium protocols, because what you're doing is you're physically cleaning out the gunk that can make you feel that way. And then you clear the energy of around you that can be being held in your cells and in your organs and in your glands. No, it's really, really powerful work. And I want this for every single person in the world, all 7 billion of us. I know I can't work with all 7 billion, but I can work with you guys. And I know you guys will then go work with someone else. Maybe you'll go work with 10 people or 20 people. Or if you're a practitioner, you'll go work with 200 people. And those 200 people will go work with, maybe 10, 15, 20, 200 or more people. And that's how we pass it on. Because I know that this program will help you. I know it deep in my bones, because I asked God to guide me in creating it. And that's 100% the truth. I wanted a way to support more people. And I literally would cry at the thought of, like, all these people are sick. They all need help. How are we going to support them? And my team and I, and of course God, because he's a really big part of my team, my God, my angels, I consider them a huge part of my team, and they're around all the time, and they are for you guys too. Today a friend was talking to me about a program she went and did, and she said, we were just chatting and catching up, and I said, well, what'd you learn? And she said, I learned that there are compassionate beings, angels, spirits all around us all the time. And she started bawling, and she said, they're always here. They're always helping us. And part of what we do in a group is we deepen that faith together. It's hard to sometimes deepen your faith on your own. And sometimes you need another human being, or 5 or 100, to really deepen together with. And that's what we're teaching. That's not just teaching, we're sharing. This is an energy that I want to infuse into all of us to deepen our faith. Every single one of us can do with deepening our faith, right? And this is not work I usually have time for. Like when I'm so busy working with clients one-on-one and doing sessions and doing readings and getting person after person after person after person after person set up with protocols and understanding what's going on in their body. And then there's a question of faith. And then there's a question of understanding where your suffering is coming from and why you're suffering and what is it that you're here to do in life. What is the meaning of your suffering? And you know what? We are getting into that. So many of you ask me, You know, what is it? Why am I struggling? What is my purpose? What is my path? It can't just be that I'm going to be sick. And I'm telling you, you're not here just to be sick. These are the conversations that we cannot have outside of a group. These are the deeper conversations. I want to hear what your thoughts are about these topics. I want to hear where you struggle with faith. I want to hear where your suffering feels so great that you feel you can't go on another day. I want to know what your lowest points have been so that we can help you never to go there again. Don't you want that for yourself? I know that every human being wants to be loved, to be seen, to be heard. It is our deepest, deepest desire and need in order to live a good human life. And that is what we are creating in these groups, is seeing people, loving people, having compassion for people, and hearing people. Because when you hear and see and acknowledge and love and have compassion for another being, you help them heal. You can be on as many protocols as you want, but you will not heal if you don't feel loved, have compassion in your life from others towards you, if you don't feel seen, and if you don't feel heard. It's very hard to heal when we don't feel like we belong and we feel as outsiders. So I just really, really want to share this message. It is coming from a very deep place within me. It is the whole reason I created this program, is because it's not just about physical healing and physical health. It is about all the rest of it. It's about all the stuff that we really need to look at, that we don't really get to look at because our lives are so full of all the other stuff that we're doing. And here's a space where you get to do that. Here's a space where you get to do it. And I'm really deeply honored from the bottom of my heart. Every one of you who's already signed up, every one of you who's already had the faith and taken the plunge. Like, I just don't have the words. Like, I'm absolutely flabbergasted at the fact that you are taking the leap, you're having faith, and you're just freaking doing it. And I want more of you to just freaking do it. I cannot say it's something that I feel in a person out there who doesn't want to be loved, seen, heard, have support, and all the rest. We all need that, and especially need that when we're sick, right? We especially need it when we're sick. So, whew, that was a lot that I just said. I'm noticing some of your comments here, and I want to just say, you know, the 15% discount is on for 2 more days. Jane, you're very sweet to say that. Robin, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're feeling that way right now. Know that it's not you. It's not you. And there's all these comments and all these questions, and I'm really sorry that I didn't get to answer all of them, but I felt like I had a really important message to share today. And I really want you all to get that we're doing deep work here. It's not going to be, a month of just hanging out. You'll be getting resources, you'll be getting support, and, we'll be studying cases of people who have been sick, and, just case studies. We'll be bringing those in. It's really, really powerful stuff. So if you're toying with it, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, please reach out. Ask me questions, email my office and say, I'd really love to do it. I have another question. Some people email us and say, hey, finances are hard. And somehow we're able to work it out with some people. So if you have any of that going on, do reach out. It's team, TEAM, at muneezaahmed.com. Team at muneezaahmed.com. And I would love to hear from you. If you're wondering why you didn't, if you're wondering why or you're sitting on the fence, you've got questions, you've got something to share about it, I want to hear from you. So do email us. Annette says, if sent an email but haven't heard back yet. Annette, as far as we saw today, we had responded to everybody. Maybe your email didn't come through. Could you try it again, Annette? Team at, I'm going to type the address in here, team at muneezaahmed.com for more questions. And then you have the link to the page. So definitely check that out. Elizabeth, I just posted the email link above. It's the first one there. Again, if you haven't heard from us, sometimes stuff gets lost in cyberspace. Please feel free to email us again. Alyssa says, God must have wanted me to hear your message today. I have an extremely emotional, painful weekend. Oh, Alyssa, I'm so sorry that you had that happen. I'm so sorry that you had that happen. And so many of you are commenting on that. So on the fact that it's been really difficult. And I hear you. I do. I hear you. And I'm here to support you. I mean that. Okay, so I know that there's so many comments and I haven't really been looking, but let me just quickly scan over here, see if there's some quick things I can respond to people for. So Christina says, I want to enroll in the intuitive cleanse, but I wonder if I can do it no matter all I'm taking right now. Should I stop all I'm doing, or will I be advised what to do? I can't recommend supplements here or not, love, but we can discuss that in more depth on the cleanse for sure. And the cleanse isn't just about the diet. It's about really understanding a lot more about your health and your healing and how to apply those things to yourself so you can heal faster and better. Or really understand, once you understand what's going on with yourself, isn't it a relief? You're like, oh, okay, it's EBV. Oh, okay, it's shingles. Oh, okay, I'm having these aspects of my body are triggering. So okay, I can manage it because I know what's going on. So you get to really understand all that, Christina. So if you have more questions, email us at team@muneezaahmed.com. Beth said, thanks for your support. I have an issue with my eyes. I feel like I must take a break from the computer screens and not just when I'm on the computer. Is there something I can do to soothe this? It sounds like the nerves around the eyes are getting inflamed. Yeah, so I would do some nerve protocols, Beth. Habima says, I love the energy tonight. Thank you. I know, I do too. It just sort of came together. It wasn't even planned. I didn't plan to talk about all this. It just sort of happened. Nutri Liquid Omega change formulation, is it okay? I would have to take a look at that. Taryn, if you want to send our office what it is, I'll take a look and let you know. Elaine says, I've been on protocol for 9 months and last week had an operation to remove pins and plates. Do you have any suggestions to remove anesthetic drugs from my body, please? I would do the teas that are on page 268, Elaine. There's an anti-pesticide tea, anti-solvents tea, anti-radiation tea, and there's 2 more. There's an anti-chlorine and fluoride tea, and then there's an did I say them all? Plastics tea. So between those and a heavy metal smoothie, that would really help clean most of it out. So Christina, you can definitely get help on the medical medium protocols. Definitely, it will be a longer road for you, but you can get help and things will improve. Margaret cannot lose weight. We're going to be talking about that in the mastery, about weight. I know it's on so many people's minds, the weight piece. So I'm just saying, Okay. You got my email. Deborah, what eyeliner mascara do you use? I have that all outlined in my Greening Your Home webinar and handouts. It's on my, if you go to my page and you click shop, there's a link there to download a program for Greening Your Home. And there's a whole handout there on beauty products that I personally use. And the thing is, people ask me all the time, what brand do you use? And I'm like, I don't use one brand. The reason I can't tell you all what I use is because I read the ingredients of every single brand and product, and I don't go with just one brand because not one brand is just clean. So so one brand isn't just clean. So you have to find the different ones, and I listed all of them in there for you. Like there's a, I don't know, like a 5-page handout on all the products that I recommend. Amanda says, I don't diagnose, Amanda. I don't diagnose at all because I'm not a doctor. What I do is I do readings for people, intuitive readings in general. But on the cleanse, I'm able to use my intuition to guide you to what path is best for you to take on a more general level, because I'm not doing readings there, but I'm using my intuition to help you, and I'm using my intuition to guide you. But it's not a deep reading like in a reading. What I do in a reading is I read you, I provide foods that really support your path, I provide supplements that support your path for healing, and we get to understand, you know, what are, according to medical medium, what might be the causes of things that are happening based on what he has said. So it's a little, it's not that I'm doing readings on the cleanse, but I'm using my intuition to really go deep with it. And other people and the other admins are also doing that. So Myri, what causes deafness as people get older? Epstein-Barr usually does that, according to Anthony. Lisa, tightening in the throat can be many, many things. It's not one thing. Okay, Ikoda says, I missed the first part of the call. Is the discount automatically applied? If you are on my email list and on my webinar list, we had sent out the link to the code. But if you'd like it, Ikoda, please email team@muneezaahmed.com. Okay, so Alice says her intuition's right on. You're so sweet, Alice. So I just want to share with you, first of all, I really appreciate you showing up live and hanging out with me for an hour. It actually means so much to me because I know how busy people are. And, you know, there's lives for people I want to watch and I don't get to watch them because I'm so busy. And I'm like, every time you guys show up, I'm like, they're all here. They make time. You don't know how much I value that, and that I appreciate that you guys make the time to show up here live, and that we can powwow like this, and I can answer your questions and really, you know, go deeper and understand. So Jennifer Dotson says, I have rosacea for 2 years. Please answer. You always pass my question. Jennifer, I never pass people's questions. I answer every single question that shows up. If I didn't get to your question, it's because I never saw it. And that's just a Facebook thing. I'm so sorry. I can't do anything about that. But I have your question now. And are you on a protocol for HHV6? Because that's what you would need to be on. Chris says, we want to minimize you. That's so sweet. Mary says, how do we know when we're in perimenopause? Yeah, that's a tricky one. It's different for different women. Sometimes women lose their period and they're not in menopause. So it depends who you are and what you're doing. Jennifer, I don't understand your question. I would do a protocol for HHV6 is what I'm saying. Okay. Alex calling, what affects a constant cough? Usually underlying strep, according to Anthony. And if I haven't answered your question, I tried to answer most of them, just a quick answer. I just want to make sure that you're getting the right getting you in the right track. I hope I haven't missed anybody's question. I'm so sorry if I have, but again, I so appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It really, really means the world. Please, please sign up if you want to do this. And if you have questions, please, please email me. Please email me. If you are wanting to know if it's finances or an issue, email me. Just email and just let me know. I want to hear from you because I want to hear from people why they are sitting on the fence. Linda, I'm not able to share that over here because it would be very specific, but to give you a good answer, go to Anthony's show, his radio show on ALS on SoundCloud, and he shares about the protocols there for HHV6. Shona says, is the cleanse geared to the winter? I'm wondering about being in Australia. We're coming up to the summertime. No, the cleanse is non-seasonal. It is non-seasonal. In fact, if you're in the summer in Australia, it would be really good for you to do because it might be a tad bit easier for you to do it over there given the warmth. Miel says, in a previous video you mentioned it can help to leave 10% of EBV in our bodies to protect. Those are Anthony's words, not mine. I'm just quoting him. Do we need to stay on the protocol forever to prevent that 10% from flaring up? Or how about bacterial infections like strep? Can we get reinfected and should we leave 10% in our bodies for those for protection? So Anthony has said that, yes, you should leave 10% of Epstein-Barr in your body. And it may cause a flare-up. It may cause a flare-up if you're eating really poorly or you're having a lot of stress or a combination of the two, or you're exposed to other toxins. Those three things, stress, life stresses, toxin exposure, and eating poorly are all going to, if it's a perfect sort of perfect storm, yes, you can trigger all those viral symptoms again. And that can definitely be a problem. So if you're going to stay on maintaining that 10%, I would recommend at least staying off no foods for the most part. Those will trigger, and keeping a relatively clean. I don't really think anybody who does medical medium protocols for long enough ever wants to go back to how they were. I don't think people ever will. Every single person that I've ever spoken to has told me that I really don't want to go back to the way I was before. I don't want to eat those same foods. I've lost the taste for those foods. I'm really struggling with, if I add this back, I know I'm not going to feel good. So really, it's almost easier once you've done it to stay with it. And if you binged once in a while, you'd still be fine. You could still recover from that if you go back on protocols. I always say it's like a balancing act. So if you're going to eat something that's not good for you, then don't eat it again, but actually recover your body. And if you recover your body, then you could probably stay pretty level with it. So it just depends, and each person's different. And with bacterial infections, he hasn't really talked about whether you should keep 10% in there, but there are so many strains of strep, and we all, I think, have more than a few sometimes. So again, I'm sure having strep provides some protection against other forms of it, but I would treat it a similar way just because it makes sense. So Mary Martin, is there to break up payments? There is already a payment plan available. Why don't you email our office to learn more about that, Mary? team@muneezaahmed.com. And he says, why are so many women balding these days? Mostly because they're under so much stress and their adrenals are freaked out. As Mina says, one gets dizzy and not grounded a lot. It's usually having Epstein-Barr in the inner ear. Lara Hansen, how do we know when our immune systems are strong enough to try for another baby after a late miscarriage? Honey, that is a big question. I was saying earlier that I only have a very limited bandwidth to answer deep questions like that here. I am really encouraging people to jump onto the Detox Mastery and the Intuitive Cleanse so that we can go deeper into a question like that. I mean, this is you bringing forth a new life. It's a very delicate topic, and I don't want to address it and cannot really address it in this forum. So definitely consider signing up because it's a very powerful program, and you can get at least some guidance on some of the answers to questions you have in your mind. Carol says, do you know what mycoplasma is? It's shown up on mycoplasma. Yes, I do. We see it in quite a few people. Alice says, when consciousness changes, it changes your life. Yes, it's amazing. Fawn, can my mom do this cleanse even though she has renal failure and is on dialysis and a special diet assigned by Western medical doctors? I'm very worried. Yeah. Fawn, I would help you modify it for your mother, but yes, she can do it. Yes, she can do it, really. Miel says, what causes sleepwalking issues? It's usually to do with heavy metals. Is nopal cactus okay to add? I'm not aware of any great benefits. I think that most things in nature have a benefit to us. So if you want to try a little bit, that's fine. Monica says, I just found out my mom has cancer. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Monica. What can I do for myself to keep me strong? I would stick as much as possible to medical meeting protocols, get nerve support, get anxiety support, and have somebody in your life who can give you emotional support. For those really bad days when you can't handle it, you want to have someone in your life, either that or, if you want to join our program, you get buddied up with people. You would have a buddy assigned to you, or you pick one, and you would be able to really have a place to purge all of that emotion. You need a place to do that. Doesn't matter whether it's a cleanse or not, but you need a place to do that. So nerve support, go on to Anthony's. If you go onto his page and you look at stuff for nerve support and emotional support, you'll find that over there. What causes bedwetting? According to Anthony, it's heavy metals, according to him. Yeah. So you guys, I love hanging with you. I love talking with you. I want to go deeper with you. I want you to all sign up. Like, I just think it's so beneficial for people to do this and to have a tribe, to have a community, which we're growing, which we're creating, which we're building, so that we all have support and we all magnify our healing and we all have a place to go to really just land with our feelings and our emotions and everything. And so, like I said, there are 2 calls that are discussing physical health symptoms. That we'll be doing lymph and liver, we'll be doing adrenals, we'll be doing chronic pain, and we'll be doing healing tonics. Those are all the topics for the calls. And then the emotional stuff, we're doing, how to build your faith, understanding your suffering, and understanding, how to move out of feeling bad for yourself. So thank you for being here. I love you guys so, 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 so much. And I can't wait for this to start. We go live on Thursday, October 26th, and I literally cannot wait. So please check it out. And you have, if you have questions, email team@muneezaahmed.com. I love you guys. Have a blessed, blessed evening.